Welcome to the Million Pound Mission Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Shively, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and I'm on a 1 million pound mission. Now, I've personally lost over 100 pounds, and I've applied what I've learned from my own transformation journey to help my hometown clients lose over 35,000 pounds in just 5 years. Now I'm on a mission to produce over 1 million pounds of results by delivering my best weekly tips, motivation, inspirational stories, and transformation strategies so that you can gain clarity about what you need to do to reach your goals and give you the confidence to take action. And the perfect time to start taking action is right now. So let's do this. This episode is sponsored by you. Yes, that's right. I didn't make a mistake. You guys are going to help me keep this Wednesday episode advertisement free. And you can do that by supporting me as one of my patrons. Now you can go to www.patreon.com/million pound mission and find out how you can become one of my Patreon patrons. Now Patreon is spelled Patreon. So patreon.com/million pound mission. You can sign up to become one of my patrons and get access to my private Million Pound Mission live Facebook group where we're going to be doing live online workouts, live mobility sessions, and live question and answer sessions. I'd love to connect with you guys and get you more involved in this Million Pound Mission. So check it out at www.patreon.com/million pound mission. Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the Million Pound Mission Podcast. It's your buddy, Adam, the PhD, the previously heavy dude. How's it going out there in podcast land? Fire it up for episode number 123, Reclaim Your Life by Becoming Healthy with Nicholas Bayerle. I'm going to kick this one off with a saying that I love. I think it's going to hit home for a lot of you. Here it is. When we're young, we sacrifice our health to get wealth. When we are old, we sacrifice our wealth to reclaim our health. And I think it's high time that we change this up and get healthy now, no matter what our situation is. Be the healthiest version of our current self that we can be. And I'm bringing on Nicholas Bayerle to help us accomplish this. All right. Now, Nicholas, he's the founder of the $1 Billion Body and the host of the $1 Billion Body podcast. He created the $1 Billion Body to help each man to return to their true self, to push their body and their mind to the limit, and to actively grow and be accountable to the bigger vision of their life. Now, through the cornerstone of health and fitness, each member of this motivated brotherhood is dedicated to serving their own desires and goals as they commit to looking and feeling like $1 billion. That's all what that $1 Billion Body is all about. Now, Nicholas and I dive into some very interesting topics. We talk about his own personal transformation story and how he became a health and fitness influencer to people all over the world. We talk about how our health impacts so many other areas of our life. We talk about how he recovered from his own rock bottom moment and created a life of abundance for himself. We talk about how he upgraded the fundamentals in his life to dramatically impact his health. And then at the end, he gives his 5 physical attributes of health. Lots of takeaways. I'm so fired up for you guys to listen to this and then take action. So without further ado, here is episode number 123, Reclaim Your Life by Becoming Healthy with Nicholas Bayerle. All right, Nicholas, welcome to the Million Pound Mission Podcast. How you doing today, my friend?
Hey, man, I'm fired up that I get to be a part of seeing people drop collectively 1 million pounds off the earth. I don't know if the energy just transfers into something else, but all I know is people are going to be a lot more happy, a lot more sense of vision in their life, and they're going to be able to see more of what their potential is. Because I'll tell you what, I'll kind of break a little story real quick, is that I was 60 pounds heavier, and all I know is that every time I pictured myself in the future, it actually scared me because I never saw myself overweight. And so it actually got me to nope, I don't even want to look out there because I don't even notice that person. And then it made me feel like a fraud where I was at, because I felt like, man, I'm not living the way that I feel like I'm supposed to, because when I picture myself in the future, this is not how I look. And that was a scary thing to go through.
Yeah, let's just continue along that line, because I know you've got a story. I know that anybody that becomes a health and fitness and just lifestyle influencer like you have, and you're influencing people all over the world, there's a story behind that. And let's just start with that. You talked about the 60 pounds. Let's talk about your own transformation a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the CEO of a company called The $1 Billion Body. It's a lifestyle brand for male business owners, and we tailor an entire lifestyle so they can keep growing their business and income without sacrificing their personal life. And so we thought we could just go after the health. But what I noticed is that each area of health, business, and relationships, they actually all impact each other. And so if you have one that's off or off balance, then all of a sudden it's actually going to impact those other areas. And that's actually how we start talking to them. And it's actually something, before I go into my backstory, that everyone can do right now is figure out, okay, right now my health is probably the thing, if you're listening to the show, is that thing that you feel like is off balance. And it may be off balance because of one of those other areas, whether it's your personal life, whether it's your business, or whether it's maybe even your relationship with your spouse, significant other, your family members, that maybe sent you into a spiral to become unhealthy. But nonetheless, like, you're here to solve one problem, which is to make sure that you can be fit and healthy for the rest of your life, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're not motivated, that you're just naturally healthy and your bad tendencies become eating broccoli. Like, oh my gosh, like, I have a craving, I want to eat broccoli, right? Which we'll talk a little bit about how we can get cravings to actually be good, and how you can actually use your impulses for your advantage rather than trying not to have any more cravings. So we'll jump into that. But if you were to think about it, in your health right now, with your current struggles or your current problem, how is that impacting your relationships with your significant other, with your kids maybe? How is it impacting your work? When you go to work, how is it impacting everything? Are you more sluggish? Do you feel less confident? Do you not want that promotion? Do you not want to get in front of people? And if you keep playing this thing out over and over again in your head, what's life like? Because one of the big things for me is that I actually wasn't that motivated by the end result. I was so scared of going down the same path that I knew exactly where it was going. I didn't know what life was going to be like if I got healthy, if I went into business, if I got married. I didn't know exactly what it was going to be like. But I knew if I didn't get healthy, I knew exactly what life was going to be like. And that's what scared me the most. So going back into my story, I was going to be a professional athlete actually growing up. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a professional motocross racer. And my dad and I had a big falling out. I'll kind of tell people because maybe you guys can relate to a shift. I had a problem in my family life that resulted in my personal life and my weight gain. And so my dad and I, when I was about 13 years old, I wanted to be the best motocross racer in the world. But at this point, I already struggled with depression. I wrote my first suicide letter when I was 7. I was consistently coming home from school and like turning on the TV, watching Animal Planet. That was my favorite show at the time. But I didn't know why. I didn't know why I didn't want to go outside. I didn't know why I didn't feel motivated. I didn't know why I didn't want to go do anything. But my parents split up when I was 4. Like, I had a bunch of different things that was going on. So because of that, I was experiencing emotions that I didn't know how to deal with, and neither did anyone else in the household. And this is at a very young age. So maybe other people are experiencing this now at an older age. And I went up to my dad as like a lifeline. Like, I didn't really believe this, but I was like, Dad, maybe you'll believe it. And I go, Dad, I want to be the best motocross racer in the world. And he looked at me and he goes, you'll never be the best. And I just remember that like crushing me. That was the straw, literally the straw that broke the camel's back. And I remember leaving that place and I was like, I'm going to go live with my mom. I'm not going to talk to my dad anymore. I'm done. I give up on this game that we call life. I went home. I got a 1.8 GPA in high school, went to summer school every single year, didn't talk to my dad for 3.5 years, gained 60 pounds of body fat. And on top of that, I didn't have a relationship for 7 years. Whereas like when I was up to that point, like up to 8th grade, like I was kind of a baller. Like I dated every single girl in my dang class up to that point. But I ended up having no girlfriend all throughout of high school. Not one. Like not one girlfriend whatsoever. And so every area that we now teach our men, our businessmen at $1 Billion Body Live is I was failing in. And this is a good thing. But can you notice that the same thing that I just told everyone, my relationship with my father and my relationship in my family is actually the problem that was broken, and that it caused me to go out there and have a physical manifestation of gaining weight. And so I would say that no one here has a weight problem. They have something else that's happened in their life. Because, you know, there's very few people that are like eating healthy that are just fat. Like you're eating healthy, you're doing good exercises, you have a clear conscience, you've forgiven everyone in your life that you've held offense towards, all these different things that cause stress in our life, and you're just like gained 150 pounds. Very rarely. But typically there's something else. It's not the weight. Forget about it. Let's focus on the lifestyle. And so that's what happened to me. And I realized that at about 18 years old, there was a kid who came to my school that had a plan, just like a meal plan. Maybe you've seen him before. I was just stupid enough to believe that it would work. And I was at the right place at the right time, just like you listening right now are at the right place at the right time, that this is going to be that mental shift for you, just as my dad did to me in one moment for the negative. This kid did for me in one moment for the positive. Showed me his plan for 1 second, never talked to him again, lost 60 pounds in 6 months. So get ready for your journey.
That is awesome. That's awesome. So what I'm interested in is you went through a huge shift there. And I talk all the time about momentum shifts and how important momentum is. And also just understanding that shifts exist and not to beat ourselves up if we do hit a negative momentum shift, but realize, okay, we've hit negative momentum and we need to get things going in the right direction again. So my question for you would be, you shifted that momentum from a huge negative swing to changing everything, kind of reinventing your life and your lifestyle and your mindset. What was the first step that you make? So you saw that individual with a meal plan. Was the first step engaging in that, or what just got the ball going in the right direction again for you?
Yeah, I went home and I went and got all the food. And that's what I did. And then really at the end of the day, everyone just wants results. They don't want the process. Anytime you look at a meal plan, anytime you look at a workout plan, anytime you think about a trainer, anytime you think about getting a CrossFit membership, anytime you think about clicking that download on Facebook, anytime you think about anything, the one thing is that you don't actually want that thing. You want what you think that thing is going to give you. And so focus on the results. Don't be married to the actions. So too many people are actually trying too many things. And so because of that, they get too much stuff. Everything works. I'm not going to lie to you guys. If you go vegan today and you actually stay true to it and you do high intensity workouts, you'll hit your goal. And if you go, the carnivore diet today, and you go lift really heavy, the extreme opposite, you will still get results. Because the best plan for you is the plan that you can actually do. End of story. And then from there is refining it. There's always things you're going to try that's different. You're not just going to eat the same things every single day for the rest of your life and then you die. That sounds boring anyway. But there's ways that you can live a lifestyle where you create a habit first, and then your habits create you. So that after you have a time when you're down and out, you fall back into a new level, a new watermark of habits. So now today, my old watermark was I would eat a whole bag of hot Cheetos in one night. I would buy a whole jar of Nutter Butters that were like 2-gallon jar, and I'd eat them over the weekend. I'd have candy wrappers all in my bed, and I'm like, I don't know how that happened. I'd shove them against the wall. So I'd go to change my sheets, and I'd pull the sheets out, and it'd be like candy wrappers everywhere. I'm like, I don't know what happened. Like in the middle of the night, I guess I got up and had it. And so consistently, that was my fallback into just, I'll go live regular life. And then when I tried to eat well at the time, that was me going through Jack in the Box and getting like a fruit smoothie that was like 1,500 calories probably. It's terrible. And that was my action. Now, eating terrible is eating 100 times better than what I ever ate before, being totally not focused. And when I'm focused, it's at a different level as well. Why? Because I created a new watermark where I've created a habit. I've changed my mindset around it. And now my bad is now my old, really, really good. And so for me, the shift all came with first having one plan. I didn't have tons of Facebook that I was looking at. I didn't have all these other different plans. It was very simple. And all I did was follow that until 2 weeks in, I lost 11 pounds. And that's when I knew. I was like, results. That's what I craved. I didn't crave the process. I didn't crave anything else. All I thought about was the end outcome. And when I thought about that, all of a sudden I had motivation. Because you can actually access what it's going to feel like when you lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 100 pounds, 200 pounds now. It actually is almost going to feel better than when you actually lose it. See, humans actually feel more happiness thinking about what they want to accomplish than actually accomplishing it. Believe me, I've accomplished a decent amount at 26 that most people never get to experience. From losing 60 pounds to doing $1 million to, getting my own house, whatever. All of it is so temporary because the process is what humans actually crave. Consistent improvement equals happiness. So just think about that. Hitting your goal is not going to give you happiness. Sorry. Consistent improvement towards that goal And consistently improving towards a goal is going to give you happiness. So that's why I think about, if I keep doing the same actions that I'm doing in my health right now over and over again, what result is going to produce in 10 years? And that gets me to go to the gym today. And that constant improvement gets me out there and does it. Last thing real quick. Commitment is better than motivation. Here's why. In a relationship, the ultimate commitment is marriage. Right? It's like till death do us part, right? That's like the craziest thing you could ever say. And the people that break that commitment, which is about 50% of people, 55%, they have a 15% higher chance of getting divorced again, and 90% of them will get married again. So all of a sudden they broke a commitment. Now they have a higher chance of getting divorced again because they broke a commitment, and then if they do it again, then all of a sudden they have a higher chance unless they fix it or change something. And so when I look at commitment, I look at it as the glue that actually holds you to what you're supposed to do. So in a relationship, if you have an argument, the only way you can get through that argument is if you have commitment, because commitment means that person's not going to walk out on you. Now, if you just are dating and you get into a serious argument, they may walk out and they may break up with you. But at this point, you've said, till death do us part. So what does that do? It allows you to actually communicate and tell the truth because you have no fear of someone leaving you. And what happens is that as you get to know that person more, because the whole point of having communication is to get to know the other person better, not to get them to agree with you, but to understand them. And if you understand them, then you actually love them more. And on the other side of conflict is actually happiness. And so what I would say to that when it comes to your fitness routine, when it comes to eating healthy, when it comes to hydrating, and we'll get in the 5 physical attributes here, is that when you go and you use commitment rather than discipline, rather than any of these other things, and you just show up at the gym, you just don't fill your house with junk. You just have that water bottle near you all day, but you don't feel like it. Believe me, I don't either. Still, I don't feel like it a lot of times. I don't feel like going to the gym today at all. I haven't been able to go in a week because I haven't felt good. But what am I going to do? I'm going to exercise my commitment. I'm going to show up. I'm going to work out, whether it's pretty or good or not. And guess what's going to happen? On the other side of that commitment equals results, and results gives me a feeling, and feeling is that motivation again. Most people quit. They don't have the feeling. They don't show up. They don't feel that feeling anymore, and so they're sad. Commitment will get you to show up. Showing up will get you results, and the results will give you the feeling, just like it will in an argument in your relationship. Commitment will get you through it. Getting through it will give you a greater understanding of each other, and as you understand each other more, it'll allow you to love each other more as well, but it takes commitment first.
Now, I love the commitment word that you use there. I also love showing up. I was actually just talking to one of my clients. We did a coaching call this morning, and all I asked him to do was just to show up. And for him, that meant I've got a 28-day challenge. It's 10 minutes a day. I said, when the alarm goes off, go to your phone and push play. I don't care if you actually do the workout or not. You showing up means you push play. You're either going to listen to me chirping at you through the workout, or you're going to do the workout. That's your choice. But show up and push play. So that's right in line with that. And then on habits, I wanted to pick your brain on that because I know a lot of times the people that I'm talking to that are struggling, that little voice starts kind of chirping in the back of their head of, you've been doing this for 8 weeks. You need to take a break. This is getting, they basically are getting uncomfortable. They're getting outside of their comfort zone, which is good. And I feel like that is a sign of a new habit being established and solidified. And that's that little voice trying to convince us to go back and slide back into our old comfort zone. So I love what you said about the watermark. So do you have any processes or thoughts on that topic where we can go a little bit deeper on the habits and how long it takes to establish that and make that watermark the new normal?
Yeah, so first it's got to start off with vision, because you can only for so long adapt someone else's vision for your life until it does feel uncomfortable. So I would say for them, they're adapting what other people say they should be doing. Like, hey, it looks like you need to lose 20 or 30 pounds. You should probably work out 3 to 4 days a week for this many days, or 28 days for 10 minutes. And they adapt your vision. They adapt someone else's vision. And they're like, okay, I can do that. And then they're living someone else's life, and they realize that 8 weeks in that they're not doing this for them. They're doing it because of someone else, which is a great way to start until you get your own vision. It's same as playing music. You always learn how to play someone else's music before you learn how to write your own music. You play guitar, you play piano, but at some point you create your own style There's a reason why if someone comes up to you and you're like, hey, can you play country music on the piano? You're like, oh, it's not really my thing. Like, I'm actually more of like a blues, like I'm more classical. That's my thing. And you start discovering more of what you're doing and why you're playing music and all those things. So I would say first start off with vision, exactly what you want to accomplish. If you don't want to be a CrossFit athlete, then don't go to the CrossFit gym 6 days a week and do 2-a-days. And burn yourself out and wonder why am I even doing this? I'm sacrificing my family and my work life to be able to be fit. No, it doesn't take that. If you want to drop 30 pounds and you want to look toned, well, then talk to this guy and he'll give you something that you can do at your house and eat a certain way and have a specific plan for your specific goal. So first I'd start off with vision and figuring out why they're doing it, and then repeat the question one more time.
So with the habits, like how long do you feel like, we always hear like, oh, it takes 21 days or it takes 56 days. Like how long does it take to establish the new normal where you've achieved that watermark, that's your new normal, that where you fall back to? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So there's an old story of like, in the like Old Testament of the Bible of these guys getting delivered out of Israel, going to a place called the Promised Land. And so they were all like slaves in the city, right? And it was like, it sucked, kind of like being overweight. Like you don't know what to do. You're slaves. You feel like you can't get out of it. And then they join a program like this, right? And it's like they're 8 weeks in and they're freaking out. Well, these guys, they got delivered out of this city, but then they wandered around in a desert for 40 years. And it got so bad that they actually started dreaming and craving about going back to their old life. Though they hated it, like literally they hated it. They were complete slaves. They had no life whatsoever, but at least they felt comfortable because they knew the outcome of going back. Yet the fear of the unknown kept them wandering in a desert for 40 years where they never entered a place that they called the Promised Land. And so I believe that the first thing is making a decision that you're just not going to go back. Every bridge that I bridge, or every bridge that I have in my relationship, every bridge that our guys have in their business, every bridge that they cross in their health or their personal life or their spiritual life, we have them burn the bridge behind them. There is no going back. And then the last thing would be, if you, like, I'm sure you have a community, right, that they can connect with. It's all about community. There's 3 things that every person's going to want to have here. The 5 people they surround themselves with. If they're not fit, that's why you're fat. Secondly, if you, when it comes to your success in your career, maybe you have those people around you that just aren't going after it and you just can't relate to them anymore. Cut them off. It's time to just send them a birthday card, because the 5 people you surround yourself with is who you're going to become. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future, and show me your calendar and I'll show you your life. And so if I look at your 5 friends right now, write down plus or minus 10% of their current relationship, of their current weight, of their current fitness level, of their current income. You'll be within plus or minus 10%. And so one of the quickest ways to be able to see better results is to surround yourself with better people, because all of a sudden you start adapting to the environment that you're in. And that's why I love communities. That's why it's so much bigger than just a plan. If anyone buys a plan from you, I'm almost like, it's terrible. Like for you, you have a moral obligation. These people are coming to you to transform their body, to be able to love themselves again, to be able to feel free and all these different things, whatever their motivation is. It's all different for everyone. You have a moral obligation to get them to choose the right program, which would be to get around good people. If they don't have them, if they're not sitting around fit people, which if they are, I doubt they would even be listening to this right now. Like if you just had 5 fit people around you that they're experts in everything, we wouldn't be here. So I'd say for them to go further when it comes to community, when it comes to getting around the right people, let alone having the right plan and mentorship and coaching and all those things. Because the other thing is having a plan. There's many people out there that have good people around them that are pretty fit, but they're executing on a bad plan. So you want to have the right people that can speak into your life and contextually help you. You want people around you that consistently are healthy and fit and live the lifestyle morally and ethically that you want. And also you want a plan to follow. Some type of thing that's going to get you to your vision, not someone else's. Because that's why we don't execute on the plan. We don't know, if I do this, is it going to get me to where I want to be? I want to go to Hawaii, but it seems like this plan is taking me to New York. And that's what we fear. Is that I'm going to end up at the end of the day in a place that I never even wanted. It's not going to give me the results that I want. And that's why you have a professional here that can go, this is your goal. Now let's actually create a path and exact a game plan to get you from where you're at today to where you want to be in the certain amount of time that you want to get there. If you want to lose 70 pounds in 45 days, it's going to look a lot differently than if you want to lose 70 pounds healthily over the next 6 months. It's just going to be a different plan. So you choose what you want, and he'll put together the plan for you.
Nice. Now, I like the way we're starting to talk about some fundamentals. I feel like you've helped enough people. I've helped enough people. We can spot trends on kind of what always works, the basics that always works. You talked about the 5 physical attributes. Let's dive into those a little bit.
Yeah, so the 5 physical attributes of health are what we use for our businessmen. We do teach them a little bit at billiondollarbodylife.com. If there's a businessman out there that you're like, man, I own a business and I want to grow that business, but without sacrificing my personal life, then you're going to want to go check out billiondollarbodylife.com. But for everyone else, you can use this as well. I figured this out through just going, man, what are the key fundamentals that everyone is going to want to do to live a healthy lifestyle? And what's the order of importance? So I looked at one, just like general research that I had done, but I also looked at just basics. Right? Like I think people get so caught up in like science and all these different things, which is great, but science should only confirm basics. And so 5 things, 4 of them you're already doing already. The first one's breathing. Second one's hydration, drinking, like breathing, drinking. Third one's sleep. 4th one's eating. And the 5th one's exercise. And maybe right now you're not doing exercise. That's the only one that you're maybe not doing right now. But to think of this, that with the 5 physical attributes of health, all you would ever have to add, if you're not doing it already, is exercise. And all the other ones you're already doing, so it's not going to take you any more time. All you do have to do is do it differently. And so just say out loud right now, differently, everybody, okay? So you have breath. If you hold your breath for 5 minutes, what happens? You die. Like you're dead. So if breath can affect you negatively so quickly, that means it's the number 1 priority when it comes to health. What's cool is that if that's your goal, is to do a breathing exercise, it's the easiest one to do as well. So many people say, oh, it's 70% eating and it's 30% working out, or a variation of that. I'm like, well, that's great. If I guess I don't have to breathe anymore, and then everyone would die. At least we'd have population control if everyone followed those people. So we have breath. Right? I have 2 different breathing exercises that we do. One of them is Tony Robbins' priming breath. Someone can type that into YouTube. The second one is box breathing. It's simply breathing in 4 seconds, holding it for 4 seconds, exhaling 4 seconds, and then holding that for 4 seconds. It's a box of 4 seconds. Over and over again, you do it at stoplights. You do it when you're reading. You do it while you're looking at a computer. You do it. You create these habits where when you sit at a stoplight, you just naturally box breathe. When you become aware, you get back to breathing correctly. And when you do it correctly, it creates a habit in your body as well, where it starts doing it. So do it first thing in the morning. Breath is number 1, because if you don't breathe for 5 minutes, you freaking die. Hydration is number 2. Why? You don't drink water for a few days and you can die as well. And I get that you can absorb water from baths and all that kind of junk. But when it comes to your breathing, most people think that you sweat out the majority of your water. But even with breath, you actually breathe out about 70% of your water. You can breathe out and lose like up to 2 liters of water while you sleep. So most people, they look at working out and they see Arnold Schwarzenegger. If Arnold Schwarzenegger only ate 800 calories a day, would he be able to get as big as he did? And the answer would always be no. Why? Because he doesn't have enough resources to be able to have his body grow to that level. Now, what happens with water is if your body doesn't have enough resources, it ends up rationing out water. And it does a good job of this. It goes, okay, let's stop making them so thirsty. They're not drinking enough water. Let's not like put them through that same thing that happens with hunger. If you don't eat for like 3 days, you end up not being hungry anymore, because the body's like, why am I going to keep doing that? And so no more water. And remember that hydration, drinking, and eating both have the same feeling. So if you're feeling chronically dehydrated, then you'll actually feel hungry. But what's cool is if you hydrate, you can actually decrease your hunger. And so we have our guys drinking 8 ounces of water every hour on the hour, plus or minus, right? Simple, just like simple thing. You can get an app to track 1 cup per hour. It can go off every single hour. Third thing, just for the sake of time, is sleep. We have our guys sleeping anywhere between 6 to 8 hours every single day. We make that the third priority. How easy is that? You're balancing out your hormones. You're cleaning out and cleansing your brain all while you sleep, and you don't even have to do anything. The fourth thing's food. You already do it every single day. Let's just shift up what type of food you're putting into your body. I typically like to start people off with just add some protein to every single meal that you have and eat it first. in that way that you're just getting some protein in your body, but it's also making you more full. You've already got your water. You've already done your breath. So you're probably not even as hungry. And now all of a sudden you're eating protein first. And then at that point you're curving your hunger. And so that when you go in to eat, I know what it feels like to be hungry. And every single thing you drive past on the road on the way home from work, you're like, everything sounds good. When you woke up in the morning, you're like, I'm going to eat so well. I'm not even hungry. And then all of a sudden on the way home, you're like, I need to eat. And then you get home and you stuff your face. Right. And then you're like, dang it, why did I do that? And the last thing is exercise. We like to put everyone on one of two things. A little bit of heavy resistance training, whatever's heavy to them. It could be 5-pound dumbbells. It's all relative. And then the second thing would be a high intensity workout. Just something that gets your heart rate up, that's interval, that you go from maybe squatting to laying on the floor to getting up and squatting. Something that is getting your heart rate up, that's continual movement over a short duration of time. And we found that this has been the easiest thing to do. And I'm sure that's exactly what you're doing with them as well in the 10 minutes. I'm sure they're not doing heavy resistance training for 10 minutes. They're probably doing high intensity interval training, which was never around like 10 years ago. Like no one even said that word whatsoever. Right. So it's really funny to see what's going on. But so the 5 physical attributes of health, we got breath, we got hydration, we have sleep, we have nutrition and exercise. 5 simple things that you can write down and check them off every single day, starting off with breath, doing your box breathing. Once you feel the momentum of checking that off, you feel like a success rather than making your number one priority getting to the gym. If the number one priority is getting to the gym, if you don't do it, you're going to just screw up everything else. If the number one thing is eating healthy, then if you don't do that, you're not going to go to the gym, you're not going to hydrate, you're just going to say, oh, forget the whole thing, I'll start over tomorrow. But if the number one thing is breath, the number 2 thing's hydration, all of a sudden you're like, I got this, bro. Like my most important thing I've already done. Now I'm just going to go to the gym and eat because now I'm already in momentum. Because so many people, they make the hardest thing their number one priority. But the problem is they have no momentum. Ends up tripping them up. Ask every single person out there. They'll say one of 2 things. Either when I eat healthy, I go to the gym, or when I go to the gym, I eat healthy. But if I miss one, then I'm just like, nope. I'm starting over tomorrow. Like, might as well go get Burger Lounge or go drive through that place tonight because we're just starting over tomorrow. And it becomes this crazy cycle. And the way you can notice if you have a craving is if after like something that's like impulsive, something that's not good for you, is that normally you have an extreme desire for it. So when it comes to food, like extreme desire. And then afterwards you feel bad. And you want to write that down and file that so that the next time, we call this lessons learned at BDB. Lessons learned is when you can look at this again, when that craving comes up, you can look at the last repercussion that you had of feeling like crap. And you look at that and you go, maybe I shouldn't do that again. And that's what you know it's a craving. And what you can actually do in your mind is over time creating habits is you can shift your cravings. Where you start creating – my wife used to eat terrible. I mean, at like fast food every single day. And after meeting me, she couldn't do that anymore because I was like, not going to happen. But what happens now is now she's craving green juices. It's ridiculous. She'll be like, man, I really want a green juice. And though it has some apple in it and things like that, look at the difference. Cravings aren't bad. You just have to shift what they are. Start being more selfish. Most people think selfishness is bad. No, Mother Teresa was selfish. She did exactly what she felt like doing that gave her the most amount of happiness, and luckily she had that directed in a way that changed the entire world. And so change the perspective of being selfless, change the perspective of having cravings, and just make sure that they're going towards a positive thing that's going to get you to that vision that you want to have, that you're surrounded with the right people and you have the right game plan.
Dude, you just dropped some serious knowledge. I love it. I love it. So you talked a lot about momentum there and the importance of that. So I know I want to be respectful of your time. So I got 2 quick but important questions for you. All right. First one is, let's say that there's somebody out there in my audience right now, and I know that this somebody exists. You know, this is the type of person that comes to listen to my show a lot of times, and they're feeling frustrated and almost like they've tried a lot of things and they're kind of just beaten down by trying, and then that perceived failure, the weight loss, the weight regain, and that cycle that we know so many people will just get entrenched in. What would you say to that person? They're ready to just make a big effort to reverse the momentum and create positive momentum. If you could sit down and just grab that person, look them in the eye, and tell them just one baby step to initiate momentum or to start just building up those habits that we need to build to create a different lifestyle, what would you say to that person?
I would tell them to stop lying to themselves. That the big thing is 50% of success is going to be just showing up. I've noticed through our guys, and I'm sure this is true to women as well, but to be honest, women are typically 100 times better at this than men are. So men will think that, man, I cannot get into community unless I'm successful. So when I am successful, when I am fit, then I'll start hanging out with people again and get around fit people. But until then, I need to get to like the end product and be a perfect person. And then I'll go into an environment where I can be around people. And then what happens is they get around people and then somehow life hits them in the face. They mess up and then they're like, nope, I'm out. I need to go get perfect again. And then I'll come back. And it's a vicious cycle over and over again of getting outside of community, outside of the right people, outside of doing the things that made you successful, and they go back to regular life. Because to be honest, most things are seeds, right? I can work super hard. I can work out for like the last 3 months, not see results, take a week off and drop 3 pounds. And I'm like, why'd I work out so much? I just took a week off and I lost 3 pounds. No. You put in 3 months of working out and then you took a week off and your body was still in momentum and then you got to add a momentum. So there's diminishing returns. So what I'm saying is that when it comes down to lying to yourself, when it comes down to getting around the right people, you'll have diminishing returns over time if you're always going out of community in community. So that's the first person, is someone who thinks they can only get into community when they're successful. The other ones only come into community when they're broken. So they're broken and they're like, oh, I need help. Can you please help me? I'm so overweight. Like, I need help. They're at the last straw. And at that point, normally I don't even answer those people. I'm just like, yeah, go figure it out, because I'm like, nope, I'm not allowing you to just come into community when you feel like you're at your deepest, darkest, broken part. Because as soon as you get successful again, as soon as you feel like you're okay and at stability, what are you going to do? You're going to leave. And you're going to go back to the same thing. So what I would say is that 50% of success is just showing up. Quit lying to yourself about every single story that you're telling yourself about your life, that some other reason that, like, man, I'm fat because of this. I'm fat because of this. Like, I just can't have it happen. Like, nothing just works for me. Like, I just have no motivation. There's so many other stresses in my life. I would say get yourself in a place where you can show up and be real with people. Tell them what's really going on. See, the reason I created $1 Billion Brotherhood and have $1 Billion Body Live for these businessmen is because I know that if they have a problem in their health, problem in their business, problem in their relationships, problem in your personal life, they feel like they want to kill themselves, they feel like they went to prison in the past, like whatever it is, that I know that they can just show up. That if they just show up, 50% of success will just be that. If they just tell the truth. Yet if they come to me with the bullshit that they've been telling themselves over and over and over again about a problem that doesn't really exist, because they don't want to tell me the actual truth, and so that everyone in their life is always serving a problem that was never even there, but it's the bullshit story you keep telling yourself about something that's holding you back that isn't even the real problem, then no one's going to be able to ever help. So what I would say is tell the truth about the real problem so that people can actually come in. And if you show up with that truth over and over again, that'll be 50% of your success. And then from there, you have people around you that can hold you up, that are stronger than you, that can make sure that you guys get to that result together. It's so simple. It's stupid. And I'm sorry that it is. But if you just show up consistently every single day with the right priorities of making sure that your health is first, that your relationship with your significant other is second, and that your career and life is third, and that if you have priorities in that way and they're set up and your calendar reflects that, the people around you reflects that, and you tell the damn truth, then you'll be unstoppable. It's so simple, but so many people won't do it. The good thing is that once you do it, the results can happen real quick. I told you I lost 11 pounds in 2 weeks, and I've never gained weight since then at all. I've gone through tons of spurts where I didn't work out. But again, be truthful with yourself. You don't want to be an athlete at that point. Right now, I don't want to be a professional athlete. So I'm going to the gym 3 to 4 days a week. Other people can judge me. Other people can go, oh, you used to be more muscular than you are right now. I'm like, I don't care. I know exactly what my goals are right now. I know that life isn't about being big. It's not being about the most fit person. It's not about pushing yourself to the very limit every single day in your fitness. There's other things in life. And when you're truthful about that, you can now have a plan that fits your current lifestyle. It's not going to always be the same plan. Your lifestyle will change. So I would say stop lying, get truthful, and show up.
Man, that was pure fire, Nicholas. That was unreal. I think that my audience has plenty to chew on there, man. That's outstanding advice.
And if anyone's listening this long, like you're listening because you want to take action on something. So whether you're a businessman that wants to come to BillionDollarBodyLive.com or whether you want to get connected to all these programs, you want to be a part of the $1 Million Mission, that just take action. And when you take action, commit yourself to actually doing it without being able to do any other program. Just show up. Doesn't matter.
Show up. Just show up.
Stop downloading all these other things, man. You got to let's do this thing. And so just go do it. And man, I'll tell you what, that's like the first step is just being able to commit yourself to one thing. Because when you don't, you train yourself that everything you learn, you'll never apply. Oh, I learned this, I bought this, and it doesn't work. Throwing money at things does not work. Commit yourself to the right thing for you.
Now, I know with all the inspiration you just dished out, I know my audience is going to want to follow your story, get connected with you, listen to your podcast, check out your website. So what's the best way to get connected to you? You mentioned the live event. We're going to heavily recommend that for sure, if it makes sense. But also just getting plugged into your information, because you have so much great info out there. You're inspiring millions of people across the world. What's the best way to follow your story and get connected?
Dude, first off, we got to make sure we check your calendar. I don't even know. I think we talked about it last time. We'll have to check your calendar to see if you can come out, because I would love to help with this mission. I just told you I met with Jay Abraham, who's done $22 billion in revenue for these businesses. And he'll be there helping getting people's mission and vision out there. But when it comes to me, Instagram.com/Nicholas Bayerle, just Nicholas Bayerle on Instagram. That's Bayer Aspirin with an L-E, Bayerle. And I show the behind the scenes of my wife and I building a business together, living a lifestyle that's very full of diversity, travel and fun experiences, but having to couple that with being an example of health. Because right now, if you're not doing it for you, do it for the next generation. Do it for your kids. Do you want your kids to look at you as someone who has no self-control, no discipline, that you're not even a person that's worth modeling in your health and the way you take care of yourself? Are your kids going to copy what you're doing and live a life that's not worth modeling as well? That's the responsibility that we have.
Outstanding. I will link to all of Nicholas's links. Important website, his Instagram page, and his podcast. His podcast, the $1 Billion Body Podcast, is awesome. I've been binge listening to that, so I want you guys to dig into that as well. Now, Nicholas, I just want to take a second. Man, I know that you're very busy. You've got a lot going on. I know you've been traveling like a madman. You mentioned, interviewing people like Jay Abraham. That's unbelievable and very inspirational to somebody like me. But I just want to tell you thank you for spending some time with us. And I want you to know that you are now a part of the $1 Million Mission. Like I told you, we are, tracking these stats. We're adding those numbers up. And I know that people will grab something from this interview, take it, apply it, and get better results. And those pounds are directly because of you, my friend. So I appreciate you, your time, and your contribution of knowledge to the $1 Million Mission.
Hey, thanks so much.
All right, everybody. You heard Nicholas talk about taking action. The next 24 hours, what are you going to do to apply something? This isn't just entertainment. I want you to apply at least one thing that Nicholas talked about here today and apply that to your own transformation process, your game plan, your meal prep strategy, just getting started. Like I said, showing up. What is your action step in the next 24 hours? And that, my friends, is how we get out there and we own it every meal, every workout, every day. I'll see you on the next episode. Hang on just 1 second before you go anywhere, everybody. I've got a huge favor to ask of you, all right? We are in this together. We are doing this $1 Million Mission together as a community. And I'm so excited about the progress we've made so far. We're going to keep building it one person, one transformation, one voice at a time. It starts with my voice blasting into this microphone, giving you everything I've got, trying to inspire you and motivate you and give you the tools that you need to make those transformation dreams come true. The next voice is your voice sharing it with somebody else. Let somebody know that this will make an impact for them, that it inspired you and it might inspire them. If you really want to go all out, share this episode on your favorite social media platform. And if you do, please tag me so that I can give you a great big thank you. That's it. Share this out with one person that you think it could make an impact with, that can make a difference with. And I'll be so, so grateful for you. We're in it together. $1 Million Mission. It's on, my friend.